quite some time, and I thought it'd be a good idea for today's episode. So it is called the backwards law, and it's been originally stated by Alan Watts, and he also called it the law of reversed effort. So some of you may know it under that description. I have gathered a bunch of notes because I really don't want to miss anything, so I'll be looking down to my notes. So please bear with me as I find this concept really important. The law of reversed effort states the greater the conscious effort, the less the subconscious response. Or understood another way, whenever the will, conscious mind, and imagination, subconscious, are in conflict, the imagination, subconscious, always wins. The more we try to remove or escape the negative experience of life, the more negative the negative becomes. Rather, the more we face it willingly and intentionally, the stronger and more equipped we become, and the more meaningful and positive the pain and hardship can become. This has been said on the channel Pursuit of Wonder. Only when we hold our breath and try to keep all the oxygen in do we suffocate. The more we're trying to pursue something, the more it seems to elude us. We already have the values that we are pursuing right now. Can they be enhanced? Well, absolutely, but it can come from a much healthier place. When we are wanting something, when we are in a state of desire, actually what we're doing is we're highlighting a sense of dissatisfaction in ourselves. Rather than being content with where we are actually focusing our attention on the fact that something is missing from our lives. What we focus on expands. How about turning this around? If we want love, for example, in our life, we shall be giving out love ourselves. If we want people to be interested in us, we shall be interested in them. So we shall be the thing that we want. The more we strive for a positive experience, that striving actually becomes a negative experience, and that the more we embrace and face up to negativity, the more positive we find that activity. And this is something that I have noticed. It is, or I think that this law can be seen in all sorts of romantic movies, and I have been reminded by one particular, Some Kind of Wonderful, which is where the main male character, Keith, is rather avoidant of the so-called negative element. His tomboy best friend, Watts, and he's desperately trying to get the positive element instead, which is Amanda, the most popular girl in the school, only to realize that the true love has been in front of him all along. Let's continue. It all comes from the sense of wanting things to be different than they are. In wanting things to be different, we are deeming the present moment somehow not good enough. When we try to stay on the surface of the water, we sink. But when we try to sing, we float. This is one of the more popular sayings about the backwards law. And it's been said by gentleman Mark Manson, the desire for a more positive experience is itself negative experience. And paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. This skill, the ability of letting go of control when one wants it most, is one of the most important skills anyone can develop. But how do we do this? By letting go, by giving up, by surrendering, not out of weakness, but out of respect that the world is beyond our grasp, by recognizing that we are fragile and limited and but temporary specks in the infinite reaches of time. We do it by relinquishing control, not because we feel powerless, but because we are powerful. Because we decide to let go of things that are beyond our control. We decide to accept that sometimes people won't like us, that often we will fail, that usually we have no goddamn clue what we are doing. The more we try and grab a hold of something, the more it slips through our fingers. The more we embrace being uncertain and not knowing, the more comfortable we will feel knowing what we don't know. Knowing when to act and when not, rather than thinking we always have to act. And I know all of the previously mentioned notes has been kind of similar, but as I've mentioned, I want to hit this idea from all sorts of different angles. But I'm sure you yourself will be able to dig out your own interpretations of the backwards law. One of the last things that I want to reference here is a portion from the seminar that has been given by John Kabat-Zinn, and he focuses more on the mindfulness side of things. So here it goes. We are not okay the way we are, and we have to get to some special state, and then we will be okay. But who says it's special? We are human beings, but if we were to actually follow ourselves around for a day, it would be probably more accurate to call us human doings. But the being element of being human or a human being is incredibly important, and that means non-doing for a bit. It is not a bad thing to make sure that we are not missing our moments or driving through our moments to get to the better moments. We are often kind of forcing ourselves to get out of the present moment because we are anticipating some better present moment in the future. We tend to fall into our own kind of constantly accelerating intention to get some result that then leads to the next result, the next result, and the next result. And we are actually never satisfied. There is no place to go, nothing to do, and nothing to attain. The very last thing that I want to share here is a beautiful Chinese proverb. Don't push the river. It flows by itself. And it certainly does if we get out of the way and let it. Sometimes dipping our toes in the water from another section of the riverbank is all we need. That's it for today's clip. As always, until next time. Take care.